for a Plan With Me bullet journal video. So this month I was gonna go super simple, black and white, but I decided to tweak that a little bit. I'm gonna be using my Zebra mild liners, which are amazing if you've never used them. If you use highlighters, or if you just use markers in general, they are a great investment. I actually have 2 sets because my mom found a set at the thrift shop and picked them up for me because she didn't know I had them, but I'm more than happy to have 2. I'm also going to be using my Stabilo fine liner markers that I got for Christmas. These are some of my new favorites, and everything this month is in green and brown tones because that is part of my theme. So originally I was going to do black and white, super minimalist, because I just couldn't think of anything to do for March because it's such an in-between time. You know, it's not really winter anymore, it's not really spring yet, I don't know. So I decided instead of doing black and white, I was going to do browns and greens as earth and sprouts, because this time of month is when, this time of the year, is when I start getting all my seedlings ready to go out in the garden when it is finally warm. So that's what this month's theme is. So my cover page is really simple, just March and a line across, like the dirt on the ground, nice and brown. I actually wanted to get some brown nail polish so it would look nice with this video, and I'll be honest, I went to Walmart and they didn't have any, and I went to every store I could think of and they did not have a single brown nail polish, and I was so disappointed. So it's awkward, but anyway, I ramble. So yeah, I have a brown line and then a little seedling here with its roots going down into the earth, spreading out, soaking up the nutrients. Not really because it's just paper, but you know, theoretically. And then I'm gonna get my green Stabilo markers and just draw a little sprout off of the top. So for my my monthly calendar, it's continuing green and brown theme, just simple calendar. March up at the top, and then everything, the grid all in brown and filling in the side space. So it's dark brown like soil, and across the top I'm gonna be putting in some little tiny seedlings. The days of the month are highlighted in green, and there's my seeds, and grow them all in stages, and then number everything off. So on this page I decided to do a sleep tracker. I've done this before, but it's been a while, and I decided to do it again. And the reason I'm putting letters up at the top is because I'm planning on marking off who wakes me up. Because if it was just me, I would sleep all the way through the night. Like, I'm not the kind of person who naturally wakes up at night. You know, some people wake up like 3 or 4 times to go to the bathroom. I am not that person. I'm the person who their head hits the pillow and they're gone. So the only time I wake up at night is if my children wake me up. So when I do a sleep log, I like to mark it and color coded so that I can see, I guess it's more of a tracker for my children's sleep than it is for me. So off the side I have the days and then 8 to 7 because my children usually go to bed between 8:30 and 9. or, well, between 8 and 9, it depends on the day, and they're usually up before 7, so that should be enough time. And then I'll mark myself in dark green. So if for some reason I just wake up, yeah, that'll be marked. Next I am going to be doing my habit tracker, which, yes, that B is not as wide as it's supposed to be, but once you do it, it's done. I'm sorry if it bothers you as much as it bothers me. Anyway, this is my habit tracker for the month, and habit obviously is in green, and then I'm going over it with an italics, and just writing out the things that I feel, I want to keep track of this month. And then I have all my little empty bullets that I can fill in and see how things go. And I've mentioned before, but I'll say it again, when I have to do this many small circles, I tend to get creative with patterns and whatnot, so it's not quite as boring filling it out. Next is my word for the month, and this is out of Exodus 33:14 to be precise, and it says, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." And obviously this is a really short one. I think actually he's talking to Moses in this chapter, but the reason I chose this verse is because I am really, really bad at resting, and I feel like it's something that God has been trying to teach me how to be more intentional about over the last year or so, and I want to try and be more intentional about it because I really am so bad at this. A lot of people who kind of know me would probably think I'm a fairly laid-back person and rest would probably come easy, but being laid back and being able to rest don't always go together. Laid back is a personality type, and I know people who, they can just sit down and read a book or sit somewhere and do something. They can take a nap in the afternoon, and I always feel so weird when I talk to people like this because I can't do that. Like, the only time I rest, like during the day, take a nap, is if I am really sick. We had the flu, or I guess it was the flu, a couple weeks ago, and a couple of times I just laid on the couch for, 15, 20 minutes. And from my children's reaction, you would have thought I was a shark and I was going to die if I stopped moving, and they had to make me move. But it's because I just, the only time I sit on the couch is if I'm reading them a story or giving the baby a bottle or something like that. I don't just sit and rest because there's always something I feel obligated to do. I guess kind of a Martha thing I need to work on. But see, even that is work. I can't just not do it. I have to work at not doing it. So just having this as a reminder that rest is a good thing, and that He's there with me even when I'm resting, and if I ask Him to, He'll help me with it. He'll give me that rest, that peace in my heart, and that, what's the word? I don't feel the need to always be doing something. Like the world is going to end if I don't get this done or that done. I'm not even sure why it's such a big deal for me, but it always just seems like there's something that has to be done. And if I sit down and do nothing, I'm going to regret it so much at the end of the day. Which I probably won't regret it that much. And it probably won't be that big of a deal if I don't get this one little thing done. But that's what it feels like sometimes. there's just always something to do. So this month I have this verse about rest, and I'm gonna try and use it as a reminder to take some time and rest. And I think at some point I need to come up with something for Sunday where I just, like, that is not a work day. And I'm not really sure what qualifies as work in that situation, so I need to pray about that and think about that. But you know, God created the earth and then he rested. And who am I to think I'm better than him and I don't need a break, right? So everybody needs rest, even crazy people like me. And that's something I gotta work on. I know, like I said, even at that, I'm still trying to work on it. That's something I need wisdom and grace for. Let's put it that way. So this is here as a constant reminder. When I do my daily trackers, I can see this verse and remind myself that rest is good, rest is okay. Rest is something everybody needs. The world is not going to end if I stop doing stuff. And the stuff will all be there later to be done after I've rested, and that is okay. Well, on to weeklies now. So for this month, I decided to make them basically all the same, and just kind of to keep it a little bit more simple. I changed each week just a tiny bit, but basically I just have the day of the week and the number of the month, or the number of the day of the month, and March up at the top, and a box at the bottom where I can track my weather. I find it's easier to check the weather if I have a place to write it. And then some stage of a seedling off onto one side. And you think you'll be fine if you're mildly distracted, but I wasn't fine this month, and you may notice very soon that I made a mistake. I didn't realize it till later, but I skipped a day. And but it'll be alright. There's my seedling getting a little bit bigger. And then this is where I realized that I, oopsies, missed a day. So I just kind of fixed the last page so that the last page isn't messed up, and I'll adjust it as I go. And then here I have my final page for the month, and it's just a little bit of a goodbye to winter and a hello to spring. Because spring, if you didn't know, comes at the end, well, kind of late, middle, early end of March. It's actually on March 20th. Well, that's the first day of spring. The last day of winter is March 19th. But that's a pretty exciting day for me. So I decided to put a whole page in between March and April to say goodbye to winter and hello to spring. There, now that that's done, I can do a quick flip back and review for this month. I have all my days laid out, even if I did miss one there. And my word for the month, and habit tracker, sleep log, and my calendar. And my super minimal cover. I hope you guys liked it, and hopefully you won't mess yours up like I did mine. Happy spring, it's almost here, and I'll see you next time.